go ahead and turn this on. Here, move this out so I can remove the previous failure. As you can see, that it's already made a permanent mark in the plate from where the nozzle decided to go lower than it should have, even though the Z-axis was correctly set. For some reason, this printer's not realizing what it can and cannot do. When I first got it, these rollers here were extremely loose, causing this head to be off to the side a little bit, and both of these rollers were loose. Those rollers on the bottom of the build plate down there were also loose, causing the bed to shake around the way it shouldn't. What else was there wrong? You go into here, you see my Z-axis is set, or where it needs to be, and then you go to, where is it, level, and you hit start. It's still got, hang on, it still has a big old glob of filament on it from the last failed attempt. Hang on. Yeah, ready. Z up, please. Move that up so I can get this off so I can correctly level without it being an issue. There's the big old blob from the last failed attempt. I don't understand why this printer is so slow. Settings, level. Actually, technically, you're supposed to do, and your little instructions guide doesn't tell you to do, but you need to compensate for thermal expansion of the metal the build plate is made out of. So you need to manually adjust the hotbed plate to about 50 degrees Celsius. Go back, wait for that to come in. It's about 42 now. Go back to settings, hit level, and then it's going to do its thing. I don't feel like this printer should be this slow when accepting commands. So we're going to go ahead and hit the start button. And now it's going to go do its thing. There's clearly something wrong with this printer because it shouldn't take this long to do the auto bed leveling feature. It will literally sit here for a few minutes, sometimes waiting to move to the next point. It'll get halfway through and then it'll just say unable to level bed or failed attempt or whatever the error message is that comes up for the auto leveling feature. This is all in real time. You can see this other printer in the background just to show that it's not been slowed down. Still going. Alright, so for time's sake, unfortunately I'm going to have to reset it because I don't have 6 hours to wait for this to go. For example, I spent whatever hundreds of dollars for this little printer, cheapy, low end, whatever you always want to market it as. This thing is actually a pretty dang little good machine. It had no issue. I've had a little bit of issues with it at the beginning with the print profiles and some other issues with the not the firmware, but the build profiles in Cura and Prusa Slicer. But once I got everything dialed in, it took about 4 prints and the thing prints flawlessly. And then I have this high-end machine marketed as a run-and-go, install-and-go, quick print, no issue kind of printer, and it's been nothing but a headache. I've wasted literally all day messing with this thing and to have no product whatsoever. So now that I've reset the machine, and we're going back to reset, still doing whatever. I have the Z-axis set. I don't know if my phone will focus, but it has the gap in there. So I'm going to go down there and adjust it to 0.4 because apparently that is a little too low. So now when I use my feeler gauge, wherever that went, hang on a second. I've already manually leveled it, and it's still within tolerance. So it looks like 260 is about where it needs to be. We're going to go back over here, and then we're going to hit level, and we're going to try it again with the Z-axis adjustment for the 15th time today. My artillery is really going to town over there. By far the best printer I've ever had. Now you can see it's doing the way it's supposed to do. I don't know why it slows down and bogs down and won't do what it's supposed to do until you reset it. Alright, so now that bed leveling is complete, we're going to go to print. We're going to go ahead and print this worm. Wait for this to preheat. Alright. Here's where it all happens. I will give it that, it does heat up quite quickly compared to other printers. Alcohol isopropyl. Isopropyl alcohol solution to get the fingers prints off the glass or metal plate that's there. It's running through its pre-startup cycle. So now we're gonna go, it's gonna go ahead and start. Get that little bit of filament out of there. Now it's gonna start printing. Verge. Let's see what happens. Hard to see.